on another day, exactly. So
Greg, that sheet is shared with you, so you can access it.
What is it called?
It's called.
I sent you an email with the link of it.
Okay, let me see here.
It's called
Office
Hour Online Survey Responses.
Okay.
So I'm on camera.
Well, what we try to do is we're trying to make this accessible to everyone, right? So basically, people can also message in. So we try to group all the topics.
Oh, I see. That's a good idea. I like that. So other people who might just be watching this would then be able to. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
We're trying to one of the big things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lower the barrier it takes to participate in local government.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible.
All right.
So you can participate.
I like your GovGo thing, for example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You like that? Okay.
I communicated with, I guess it was Andrew.
Andrew's the one who made it.
Yeah, and I told Andrew I don't want to have anything to do with these public, after the Village Square, Town Square on in
Palo Alto Line.
Palo Alto Online.
Yeah.
My experience was so horrible with that I just don't want to have anything to do with it.
The big problem with that is that it's all anonymous, right?
Right.
You get what they call trolling, right? You get people who...
Well, you get dingbats come on there, and I've spent hours working on this thing, and some guy comes on there and says, this is bullshit.
I know.
Okay, just like that.
Yeah.
And when people who subsequently look at that site, what they see is the last person who came in, okay? And your stuff, no matter how hard you worked on it, is buried piles under. And I said, this is insanity.
So I work with Andrew very, very closely on this thing. And one reason why we want to make this happen is because the great thing with Palo Alto Online, you have the article, and a lot of people read it, right? Which is great. The downside of it is you have this tremendous trolling problem, right?
Right.
Because you can go in there and create 10 names,
right?
And it's like everyone's anonymous, and when everyone's anonymous, you don't have the best behavior. Right? It's not.
Yes.
And so this is one reason why I'm on there, and why I'm hoping others join.
Yes.
I'm glad you found it useful.
No, I found it useful. Yes. Now, I had not expected that we would have more time, so I only
We have until 1 o'clock.
Okay, I have information for Town and Country, which sounds like we'll actually be able to cover reasonably well.
Which street are you on?
Harker Avenue.
Harker, okay.
1351.
Where's Harker Avenue?
It's between. It's near the main library and Regenera Park, Children's Library, the zoo. That area. It's a fantastic area, great area.
You usually don't go there a lot, so I'm from this side of town.
Okay. The cover is pretty good now too. I think we'll go over this first, and then we can just chat about the train, because there's so much information that I don't have access to, and that you probably do, or at least we can come up with some sort of plan of action. Okay. Now, the first thing is on the Town and Country. You want to use all of the traffic lights there for their maximum time. And what I've observed, and now I use Embarcadero a lot, okay? But what I have, and I bike there, I walk there, okay? I've traveled, there are no means of transportation other than a wheelchair that I haven't taken, okay? So what I have seen is that the traffic flow when the lights are green is terrible. The reason is, first of all, on days when there are lots of pedestrians, the right turn lane, which is supposed to go from Embarcadero onto El Camino, is stopped cold because the pedestrians will straggle out, okay? And you will have a slow line of pedestrians who go across, and the right turn traffic cannot turn right until those people are gone. And by the time those people are gone, the light is now turned red, and no one is passed from the right lane.
Sure.
So you would think that the right lane would be the preferred lane for passing by the center because it would flow. No way. Second thing is they put in an exit from in front of Trader Joe's onto Embarcadero. So instead of making things better, it adds exiting traffic before there is entering traffic. So you've increased the number of cars going by, and yet the cars that you've added have no interest in going in. They want to go by, and you basically stop the people from coming in until they cede space to the guys exiting.
I don't know if you know that on a planning transportation mission, we actually reviewed a kind of rework of this intersection. I don't know if you've seen that.
I looked at a bunch of that stuff. Okay, so let me run through this and then tell me whether it makes any sense. Okay, so my thought was peel off the traffic. Okay, anybody who wants to go into the town and country center and is coming up Embarcadero toward El Camino, make a right. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work in
Can you show me the
cooperation.
map? How that?
Yeah, it's on the map right here. Okay,
So how does it
so I'm saying that when coming up, coming Embarcadero toward El Camino, all right, I want to change that entrance so that the traffic can swoop around, okay, and enter the parking lot just to the side of Trader Joe's. And the idea is, in fact, I'm going to use this. I have lots of copies, so I'm just going to write all over. So the idea is that you establish a flow, and those people can then travel around and go wherever they want to go. Okay, and you don't have to deal with entering traffic, crossing, exiting traffic. In fact, the exit, the present booth thing would only be an exit. All right, there would be no entrance here at all. All right, we have to explain if you're going to take that out.
So you're saying that this would be only an entrance, and here it would be an exit?
Only an exit.
Where else would you enter in? Just here?
There will be other entrances.
Okay.
Okay. Stand by. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is actually the passenger car entrance. Okay. I wouldn't even dream of trying to put Mack trucks in this way. Okay.
Yep.
But Mack trucks can come up El Camino, which is a truck route. Okay. And they can turn right down Encino or down the back of the shopping. Trucks can get access to the place without having to use that entrance. So you do not have to.
Do trucks use it right now?
Trucks, I mean, they use the main entrance here.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, I think not delivery trucks, but I mean pretty big vehicles.
Semis go all this way right now?
They come in. This entrance is horrible, and part of it has to do with the fact that people are coming in when people are trying to get out, and secondly, that you have crossing traffic. You have pedestrians and bicycles trying to get across that, and we could work out a cooperative plan where it would all work. If you have both entrances and exit going on at the same time, that means a large percentage of the time traffic is going that way or that way. If you're only an exit, that means the traffic's only going one way. So if you say a quarter of the time that you're going to have people exiting, all right, it means that you have much more control over what goes on, okay? And so you can have the people who are exiting not, okay, there's a traffic light's red, and then people walk by, okay? The bicycles pass on by. So it's not a problem. But I'll tell you what it is a problem.
You also have the entrance to Powell, right?
Probably, yes, but I'm not worried about the problem. That doesn't really cause us any problem. I don't think with respect to the town country. When people are making a left turn into the center, okay, in the face of traffic, okay, they're waiting. The light is green. It turns yellow. They are waiting another 3 minutes to make that left, or going for it. Okay, the people will go for it. Meanwhile, they have to watch the traffic that's coming up in Embarcadero that somebody doesn't come and drive into them. But there are people walking at the entrance to the Town and Country Shopping Center. And so it's a dangerous situation because you are not able to take in the entire situation as you're making that turn. Okay, it's a problem waiting to happen. And it occurs because you have cars coming in at high speed around that corner, okay, and unable to really grasp what's going on the other end. So if you only have this as an exit, all right, that problem doesn't exist because the people who are exiting the center see the people who are there waiting to cross the street. Okay, so it's not the same situation at all. It's a much safer pedestrian
Now,
crossing.
one thing is that the kids from from Poly, there's
Right.
a little bridge here. I don't know if you know.
Yes,
about
I know about that.
There's a
Yes.
little bridge here, right?
For bikes.
Oh yeah, I take that all the time. There's
Yeah.
a path. There's a path that runs right along here.
Yeah, and so you
Yes.
go up here and you go down here.
Right.
So if you have with that, how would pedestrian bikes cross? If you hear as people turn in.
No, here's the bike path.
Yeah,
The bike path comes down here.
yeah.
I've taken that many times. Actually, I propose that they widen that they raise the bike path up a few feet and put another bridge there, okay, to give that bike path more width, more carrying capacity.
So what would be on this lower level? You said you want to have 2 levels?
No. I'm just saying you've been at that corner.
Yes, I have.
Okay. If you're in on Embarcadero Road looking toward El Camino, the road is only down at its maximum depth as long as it's below the railroad tracks. As you come out from under the railroad tracks, the thing starts to slope up. Okay?
Yes.
So if you were to put a bridge up a path, okay, farther toward El Camino from there, you will have to raise that bridge in order for it not to
So
be.
like a bridge over here is what you're saying, is something like that.
Well, I was just talking about putting it, just
over here.
raising it, just to increase the width of this path, okay?
Yeah.
You might encourage people then the pedestrians from Alley, not to go across this way at all, but in fact to encourage, if this was really a nice path, okay, maybe people would just come from Pali, would just walk over that way into the shopping center, and then you wouldn't need to worry about the traffic light so much. So.
I don't go to Pali myself, I go to John, but I think the way a lot of my classmates think is if you're going to make them do that detour, a lot of them are not going to like it.
I know, but then again, there are students here, but a lot of this,
I need to get the wrong.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes. He's agreeing to that.
There
So
are,
I'll just look at the map here.
yes,
Okay. So
there you go.
okay. So a lot of the DEM students, right, will actually go. There's like there's a little bridge.
Oh yeah,
Go up here.
Right.
Cross here.
and don't forget, if they're coming from this end of the campus, okay, from over here,
Yeah.
why wouldn't they just walk over here to this corner
there's
and
a little-
cross over?
I think you see right there, the little bridge right there.
Right, but it's an orphaned bridge,
Well,
okay?
not
It's
really,
not,
it's like a little path right here.
Right.
Up there.
and it's, as I say, it's orphaned. Yes, it's there, okay, and people can take it, but I think if you made it wider and more inviting, it doesn't have to look like it was an afterthought that was put in, okay?
No, I guess my question is, so you would have another entrance, right? A entrance.
No, I'm not.
No, I think
Oh,
there'd be.
that's
yeah.
an automobile entrance.
I know. So where would that go?
So, right now, the exit from Trader Joe's. This is TJ's here.
Yeah.
So, where's the exit from Trader Joe's? Oh, here it is. Here, I beg your pardon. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So, this is an insanity because you're merging with the Embarcadero traffic, right? Right before those people try to get off into here, right? So what I'm proposing is that instead you come around, do a sweeping turn.
Looking real for that exit.
Right, you're going to have to redo this exit. Of course, that requires Town and Country help. But if they had better access to they get more business. Okay, I don't think if what we're talking about is sensible, I don't think that they're going to complain about that because it will help their business. All right, we're not stealing space from them, right? Okay.
Okay. So the entrance would come here. Get rid of this exit.
Yes, get rid of that exit. Sorry, I didn't. Yes, that's it. So we loop around here through. So imagine that exit just got redirected to being okay, and then I want the traffic. It could go this way, in fact, because it's a big enough loop. Okay, but I want the entering traffic to the center then to go around there. Okay. And people want to park for Trader Joe's, can park in Trader Joe's or whatever. But the idea being, is this going into your feed when you?
But yes, it is.
It is.
Like everything that's the video, everything's being recorded right now. So
Yeah.
You guys are cool. That's great.
I don't know if you can see the iPad, but
That's why I keep like.
Okay. So all right. So that's fine. You can't see my finger on the iPad, but you can see it now. All right. So what I'm trying to do is to keep the traffic flowing into the center. Okay. Now that has no traffic light, right? None. Zero. So that traffic can just keep moving in. There's an asset that nobody makes use of, which is Encina. Encina has very low traffic on it. I bike, as I say, I bike all over, so I know these places. And Encina could be used, and it's not. And it could be. You could use that, for example, for people who want to leave the center and go north on El Camino, right? So that could be the preferred route for going north on El Camino. And the entrance of the center here, if I'm seeing this right, yes. So this center right here, which is the second center. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to do is give it a dot. Okay, so that entrance is the second second big entrance. Okay, there's one small. Yes, and that's okay for people who are tootling along here. Okay, but this entrance, I want to change the El Camino here because I want it to be possible to make a left turn into the center at that point.
Left turn from this right?
From El Camino South. So you make a left turn on El Camino South when the traffic light allows the El Camino traffic to turn left into Embarcadero. So when they're turning left into Embarcadero, these people are turning left into the shopping center for one thing. Okay? And then conceivably you may not need that you may not need that for an exit at all. It may, I don't know. I haven't. You have to. The shopping center's requirements have to come into this, and I don't know what they have to say. But what I'm trying to do is to always have the traffic light working when it's green. And so, if we come back over to here, when the traffic light is green straight ahead, okay, and people are also making right turns at this corner, pedestrians can't cross, okay? The pedestrians can only cross when there's people are turning left from El Camino onto Embarcadero. If you do that, then that means that they're going this way. The pedestrians can make it to the center island, all right? And then the light changes and the people then continue to walk across to the other side. So the two lights in sequence are such that the people will simply move in a stream across there.
So right, this part right here then basically would become only an exit.
Yes.
You get rid of the entrance here.
Right. So there's no cross traffic. And that would mean that when the light was green.
So actually right now, can cars make a right in here? If there's
Yes.
Light?
Yeah.
So you can stop there and then make a right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why get rid of that? Why get rid of that entrance?
Because they've already turned off. There isn't anybody.
What about for people going this way?
People making a left.
Yeah, it's how the car people get in.
Ah. Interesting question. Now let's go back here. Where will those people be coming from?
Up the Embarcadero, right?
Yeah, okay, so they're coming from where?
They could be coming from Snapper or they could be coming from this way.
Okay, so if they're coming from this way, All they have to do is cross the intersection, make a right into the shopping center. Okay? If they're coming from Stanford, they make a left and they go into the shopping center. Okay? So in neither case do they have to enter the shopping center at that location. And the flow, the nice thing about that is that entering the shopping center, which is granted always is choppy because people moving around or cars backing up, etc. Okay, this means that the people who are moving in the shopping center that are choppy will be making right turns into the shopping center, not left turns into the shopping center. And so, if there's a chopped up inner flow, it's people in the right turn lane who are trying to make a right into the center who are being slowed up by the intermittency of that by its nature. Okay, and that's much better than having a left turn facing the same kind of problem.
So basically, let me see if I understand all this. So you're basically saying that okay, get rid of this exit. This only comes to entrance. This one here only becomes an exit.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And then and you couldn't turn this way anymore. You couldn't turn this way from the bracket now.
Right.
And then these two are these both entrances and exits. Or
So, as I say, I haven't thought out how that might improve the flow if we did something special. Okay. Because don't forget, there's also Encina over here that I say is the unused, the orphan. Okay. So, it has to be consistent with the vision of the TNC planners also. So, I don't have any strong feelings about whether those entrances can be any ins and outs at the same time. But I did have one thought, by the way, which was that in the traffic flow down here that went around the center, this is the main route, but it also takes up space, parking space.
so you just one right here.
Yeah, let's say we make that a main route around, then they're going to complain that, gee, I could have used that space for parking, and now you're making me use it for. But the thought I had was, have you ever used the kiss and fly in Europe?
No.
It's what they have is parking that is angled, and you come in and you park there. The other person gets out of the car, kisses you goodbye, and then hops out, goes over to the curb to get on the airplane. You then continue out into the next lane. So at no time is there a backing up into the traffic lane. Okay, and so
Do you think a lot of people are getting dropped off?
no. But the concept, I think the concept is cool because it means that a road that you're using as a main thoroughfare does not get impacted by people backing into it. If you had two spaces, back front to back, then these guys would have to back into there. If you only have one space here before they go out, then people can simply drive in and park, and when they're done loading their car up, they can continue on top the rest of the way. So they don't have to back into the traffic. That means that the flow on this road around, it doesn't get impeded by people who park because they simply pull into a space. All right? So
how does that work there? So let's say the cars coming down there. So how does that work?
So we have our loop ski down.
People coming here.
Here we have our loop ski here, okay? And then we're going to just come down, and that route would be probably close in here and around. And then down, around, okay? I don't think it makes sense to go between, this is a main thoroughfare. To go in front of Trader Joe's would be nuts, okay, in my opinion, because it's a lot of traffic going on there. But if you go around it, people can park there and then go over, that's no problem. So that's what I would recommend then, and you could have parking. The only thing is you want to try to make it so that when people park, that they don't, in the action of parking, they don't block the road because this is the main access road. You don't want it to be blocked by people parking. So you have to come up with some sneaky scheme for for allowing parking without blocking the road.
Sure. You know, my experience also is that sometimes it's really hard to find parking out of the country. I mean, experience.
Yeah.
So the one thing I found really hard sometimes is knowing where the free parking space is. You know, like knowing where there's parking though.
Right.
Because
Right.
sometimes you have to drive all over the place.
That's right.
That causes a lot of internal traffic.
Now, this is one of the advantages of this kind of a scheme, is that you're driving by available parking that's sort of set up along your drive path. Okay, so you don't have to zigzag in and out. So I have a hunch it might be a little bit easier. I mean, there are lots of places in the world where they have vacant parking sensors,
Oh,
you know, that sort of thing. But that's up to the people of town and country, not up to us.
Sure.
We're mere mortals. They do.
Yeah. So did you look at the new plan from the Planning Transportation Commission?
Now, I did look at. I did look at all the stuff that you sent me. Yes. Not to be outdone. There's my business card.
Thank you. Okay. So, an electrical engineer. I was also an electrical engineer. What kind of electrical engineering did you do?
I used to design integrated circuits.
Oh, me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. More like logic design, like analog HDL.
Yeah, I did. I did gallium arsenide integrated
Okay.
circuits.
No, I just did silicon.
Okay.
So, wow, what kind of chips? I guess maybe communication chips, I guess. Huh?
Yes, communications, and we did some digital stuff. When I worked at Hewlett Packard, we did very high-speed digital chips, and then I started a company, and we did receiver front ends.
Oh, which company?
Pacific Monolithics.
I've actually heard of that. Yeah.
So we were around for 14 years, so we survived for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Wow. Wow. Nice. Okay.
So I'm just too ornery to work for other people. So actually, when I got out of college in 1960, I started a company straight out of college. That was Anzac Electronics. We made very wideband communications, but passive components. Couplers, combiners, isolators, things of that sort.
Nice. Well, I love you applying your analytical skills to this problem.
Well, you know, I'd sit around. My wife says, "Don't you have anything better to do with your time?" I said, "Well, actually, maybe, but you know, I tell you honestly, you can either complain about something or you can try and make something happen."
This is why I'm on city council. I have the same feeling, right? I could sit here and complain about it or do something about it.
Right, and I'll do my damnedest. And if I meet people who are, I don't ask you to solve the problems. I don't expect magic. But if you listen, then we can both go and push some people, and maybe they can say, "That's an interesting idea," and then they go push. You know, but you know what? One person alone trying to move that rock up the hill, it really is hard.
Sure. Yeah. So you were talking about Caltrain, right? So what about Caltrain?
Sure. So this is basically it. You have all these pieces of paper. I don't even know. Okay. Caltrain. I don't know. There's a lot of politics goes into the thing, okay? But again, looking at this, my background's also physics, by the way. I was the first one at Cornell to take solid-state physics and electrical engineering in engineering physics department as a major, okay? So before then, there were some physicists who took solid-state physics, and there were some electrical engineers who took lots of electrical engineers. But anyway, I said, you know, solid-state physics is going to get into electrical engineering in a big way.
Sure.
I want to be in that area.
Sure.
And my advisor was the head of the department, said, "You're the first one, Cordell. Do whatever you want."
Sure.
He said, "As long as you pass."
Sure.
He said, "I don't care what you do."
Sure.
He said, "But afterward, I'm going to take your curriculum and use it for the next students who follow after you."
Sure.
Okay, so do a good job.
Yeah.
So anyway, my physics is actually in my soul. I'm more physicist than engineer.
Sure.
Anyway, the Caltrain thing, I don't know all the constraints, but I do know this from basic physics, and that is that the trains that we're now using are wrong. Okay, they're much taller than we want for a commute line. The commute line requirement is it should be easy to get people on and off the train because it is pay dirt for you to be able to cover more cities in less time. So that says you want a car with 300 doors, okay, where you can push a wheelchair through an open door or a bicycle through an open door, okay, and it stairs.
Yeah.
You don't want any stairs to get up. You know that's crazy. So you want everything on one floor. You want to roll those puppies in, slam the doors, and be off and go.
You know, Bart, you're saying.
Yes, that's part,
Yeah.
and maybe a new bar. But anyway, if you want to do the job right, that has to be the correct answer. And I can't be the only one who thinks this way, all right? The second thing that does for you immediately is, wait a second. If we're going to have low trains that we just roll stuff onto, okay, then that means that the height of the tunnel is reduced.
Oh, sure.
And if the height of the tunnel is reduced, that means the problems you have with the surface, we have arteries and veins in Palo Alto that you have to deal with, and that would make your interference problems less. And a 20-foot high train simply is not, it doesn't lend itself to solving that problem at all. And I think Elon Musk is right. Okay, you have two choices: either do a trench, okay, or go down the Tanzania, okay, just go down. It doesn't matter how far you go down, if then you get below the water, you get below everything. So, but I don't think that train is compatible with the train to Los Angeles. It's not the same requirement. When you're going to Los Angeles, you have miles between towns. If you accelerate at a tenth of a G or a hundredth of a G, it doesn't make a big difference to you. Okay, so it takes 2 minutes more to come up to speed. Big deal. On the other hand, when you're talking about a commute train, I think 2/10 of a G is an acceptable, 2 or 3/10 of a G is a maximum acceptable acceleration. Well, that makes a hell of a difference in how long it takes to go down the peninsula, stopping at more cities, how much acceleration you have. So that was, and then I think that burying the train is going to be a major expense.
Oh, yeah, that's very true.
And I think that's going to be a lot more than the cost of the cars, for the rolling stock.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
So if we're going to look at economics, I think that the economics needs to be done from the perspective of we are going to have a trench, okay? If it's this high, it will cost such and such. If it's that high, it's going to cost such and such. How can we make it possible to get a trench that's really high? Okay? And if that means we have to pay a little bit more for cars, then so be it. Now, that's my theory, for what it's worth. And so I think that the trench idea works. Okay? Palo Alto, if you look at the San Francisco Creek, which I like over all the time, it's down there, but it's not up here. It doesn't run over the banks where the train crosses over the thing. So, it's not out of the question that the tube, you could think of it as a 6-foot diameter hose or something, that the hose just does this sort of thing over it. That's not going to be a problem. But I really believe that the concept, that it's time for us to come up with a concept that integrates the reality on the ground, okay, with the requirements that we have. Now imagine that there is an 80 mile an hour high-speed commute line that goes from San Francisco to Gilroy, Hollister, whatever it is, right? So that thing goes like steam. And anybody, if you live in Hollister, that means you can still get to Palo Alto in 20 minutes, a half hour, okay? Perfectly reasonable commute times. I mean, people in New York City commute over an hour and a half. So in 15, half hour, 45 minutes, okay. So if you did that, that would suddenly make the land in Hollister worth something like as much as the land in Palo Alto.
Closer.
Closer,
Yeah.
okay? I don't know what the number is. I'm leaving that in your hands.
Sure.
But I believe that it would be paid for, that if we do it right, you could pay for the project by taking that appreciation of the land
In Hollis.
okay, in Hollister and Gilroy and South San Jose, and okay, that the increase in the value of that land because it's now buildable housing, okay, and just think what that would do for poor people who can't get to town, who live in Tracy and have to commute on 580. Oh my God!
I have a friend that moved from Palo Alto to Tracy.
And the commute's horrible.
Yes. I also asked, why do you do that?
Right, and quality of life comes into play here. Now, I think it's those of us who have money are going to have to shell out. I think that the reality is that we don't need the train; they need the train. Okay. On the other hand, we can afford to, when our property values keep going up and up and up, we can afford to shell out some of that appreciation to pay for getting other people access to our area. I believe that in living in Palo Alto and doing things right, you're raising the value of living here. Okay? I think
Would you be willing for a parcel tax?
I'm sorry?
Would you be willing for a parcel tax to help underground couching?
I talked with Lydia about this, who opposed it vehemently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In terms of underground couching?
No. This is no. In terms of infrastructure, putting money into infrastructure.
So you want to put money in the infrastructure?
No, but I said, real estate agents get 6% for selling a property. Okay, I want 10% of the appreciation of the property value to go into a fund called the urbanization fund. Okay, and that pays for burying Caltrain.
I see. What did you say about that? She didn't like that idea.
She didn't like hitting up the four people, the real estate people who were. But I said to her, look, we're only talking about 6% for the real estate agent, 10% for. She said, but it'd be a hardship. I said,
wait, 10% of 6% or 10%?
No, 10% of the appreciation
of the
property.
Oh,
I said, look, I bought my house for $102,000. Okay, years ago. Okay, now the house is worth $4.5 million. It's insanity.
Yeah.
So if I sell the property, what did I do to make that house worth $4.5 million? Nothing.
That is a new idea. I've not heard about this idea before. This is actually quite interesting.
So this is a property appreciation tax. It doesn't hit you in it's the money you've made on it. Okay, you've already made that.
This is a truly new idea. I've not heard about this one before. So
She didn't like that too much.
okay. Well, that is interesting. Let me write this one down. I've never heard about this before. Okay.
You can, they can throw rocks at me. I live in Palo Alto. It's
Interesting. Okay.
But I don't care who gets credit for it. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm 79. Okay, I just figure if I have ideas, I ought to do something with them or shut up.
Well, it's a very interesting idea. I've never heard of an idea like this before.
Okay.
So I've heard a lot of ideas, but this is a new one. So
well, my friend Mike is a very clever guy. I talked with we exercise with him. Mike said we should, when a company like Wells Fargo does something terrible, okay, and they take in unreasonable profits by doing something illegal and they get caught, they should be forced to issue stock and to dilute the ownership of the management and the stockholders in order to compensate the government. In other words, instead of charging them a fine, their stock should be diluted, because that way, if you take a company like PG&E, it's a great example. PG&E, okay, failed to do maintenance on a gas line, pocketed that money and passed it out to their stockholders. Then that gas line blows up and kills 13 people. right? And what are they going to do? They're going to fix all this stuff. They're going to rejuvenate. They're going to renovate their lines. And who's going to pay for it, may I ask?
I understand.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Let me
So,
write down one of your ideas.
Sure.
That's pretty. Do you have any other ideas about underground agriculture? That's actually quite an interesting one.
let's see. I must have sent you a whole. Didn't I send you a whole pile of stuff on I kept burping out three-liners in that go thing,
Sure.
right? I don't mind your type. I don't mind sitting on you.
Oh no, I'm
Taking
taking some notes. Here.
No, it's okay.
So I think we're getting to the staff meeting.
Oh yeah, okay. So we gotta get going to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, but thank you for coming out here. I really
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you. It's
Thank
good
you.
to have an eager ear.
Yes.
So you'll be in touch with me when they're going to bury Caltrain burial.
Well, we're forming a Tanaka committee, so I'd love for
Okay.
you to be participating on.
I'm in the no hurry. It's
So
whatever.
there's actually a meeting tonight, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's just been done on.
Cool. So,
Well, Alan, thank you.
and if there's whatever I can, if you have some problem, something that you think needs some